Good evening, teacher. My name is Chang. Now I and my friend Dung, on behalf of our team Group 7, to present about Bank for Investment and Development of Vietnam. Our team has 4 members, Dung, Chang, Hoa, and Nhi, and we divided our presentation into 5 main parts along with 5 tasks. The first one is bank structure, the second one is financial performance, the third one is interest risk management, capital management, and the last one is liquidity and lending. In the first one, which bank structure, we have here 3 main points: its overview, structure, and main services of BIDV. About overview, BIDV is the oldest financial institution in Vietnam, and it has some amazing number in here that it has 190 domestic branches, 1 overseas branch in Myanmar, 871 transaction offices. It is top 10 largest enterprise in Vietnam, and it is recognized as top 2,000 largest and most powerful company in the world. And you can see here in this slide is history of BIDV is some important milestone of it. And about mission, BIDV has 4 main missions here. You can see that it's bring modern financial services for customer. Attractive benefits for shareholder, professional working environments, and lastly, it also bring the pioneering community activity. In this slide, I will present about core values of BIDV. It has 5 main core values: quality and trustworthiness, customer orientation, innovation, professionalism, social responsibility, and this make BIDV more trustful with the customer and the organization in the firm too. About BIDV structure, it is divided into 2 main parts: organizational structure and governance structure. About organizational structure, it divided into 4 main parts: subsidiary, banking, joint venture, and associates. And in terms of governance structure, it divided into 3 main parts: about shareholder, BOD, and board of management. Next one is about main services of BIDV. It provide customer for main services like banking, insurance, security, and financial investment. Next one, I will tell you about financial performance. The long-range objective of BIDV is aimed at customer-centric. And in here, in this slide, I can show you about market value in external performance of BIDV. You can see that some ratio of the number of shares, earning per share, and PE ratio is all raised up from over 5 years from 2016 to 2020, and it leads to fulfill obligation to state budgets, and this ensures the interest rates of shareholder and employee. About profitability ratio of BIDV, I have here some figure for you, some table. You can see that net income, total asset, and total equity is all raised up from 2016 to 2020, and some ratio about return on asset, return on equity, and equity multiplier. It has a downward sloping over 5 years, and we have some detailed analyzation in our report. And about profitability, we also have some other ratio like net interest margins, net non-interest margin, net operating margins, net profit margins, and we put the detailed analysis in our report. So last one, I'm gonna tell you the third part, interest rate risk management. I will give you some overview and tool and the limitation of duration gap in this task. The first one, you can see that from the table, the net cash flow and yield to maturity of BIDV is very stable over 5 years, and it is stable at the average level, and it leads to the interest rate of BIDV over 5 years is very stable too. The second one in this task is about risk management too. We have 2 ways. The first one is interest sensitive gap, and the second one is duration gap. We have the equation of interest sensitive gap in here, and some term of it from up to 1 month to over 5 years. In this slide, you can see about duration gap. We have the timeline of BIDV cash flow over 5 years, a million Vietnam dong, and some calculation about duration gap. And we also put the analysis in our report in very detail. And the last one, I'm gonna tell you about some limitation of duration gaps. It is difficult to locate asset and liability with the matching maturity, and it is also the project is cash flow over duration may be skewed by customer payback. The capacity has the potential general issues. And the last one is bring the cash flow patterns of some assets and liability may be inaccurately characterized. And the next part is about task 4 and task 5. I introduce my friend Nhung will choose last part for you.
And thank you for Chang invitation. And we come to the task 4 is about the capital management. We have 6 main points in here. The first one is definition. The second one is role of bank capital. The third one is risk-weighted assets. The fourth is base 2 is include the Tier 1 and Tier 2. The next is base 2, and the last one is BIDV capital needs. So we move to the definition and roles. About the definition, capital as the level and cushion of protection, and bank capital represents the bank's net worth or equity value. So about the role of bank capital, we have 2 roles. The first one is the major regulatory framework base 1, base 2, and base 3. And the second one is extensively regulated in the banking industry. So the third one is about risk-weighted assets. We have some category in the table: 0%, 20%, 50%, and 100%. So we can see that the large amount is over 1 billion Vietnam dong, and our rule to conclude that 50% risk-weighted category is the main type of BIDV assets. So the next is a base 1. It concludes the Tier 1 and Tier 2. We can see in this slide is some element about the Tier 1 such as common stock and float, retained earnings, and so on. And some element about in Tier 2 is loan and lease loan allowances, require convertible debt, and so on. So we can see data in the table in the slide is about the equity capital structure. BIDV Tier 1 is higher than Tier 2, and to maintain Tier 1 capital in order to avoid the potential hazardness. And the next is the Basel 2. We have 3 pillars of Basel 2. The first one is concerning maintaining required capital ratio. The second pillar is relating to risk assessment procedures and the bank's capital adequacy. And the last pillar is greater transparency about each bank's general financial situation. So we come to the capital adequacy ratio. It's called CAR. CAR formula is equal total regulatory capital divided risk assets plus 12.5 times COP plus CMR. So which COP is a capital requirement for operational risk, and CMR is the capital requirement for market risk. And in Basel 2, we have 3 risks in here. The first one is market risk, and the second one is credit risk, and the last one is operational risk. So we come to the last part in task 4 is BIDV capital need. We have 3 main goals of capital regulation. The first one is restricting the reach of failure. The next is retaining public trust, and the last is minimizing federal losses. So our group to conclude that capital increased to 14.220 billion Vietnam dong, and it's up 13.3% against that at the end of 2019. So we continue with the liquidity and lending management. About liquidity, our group have asset liquidity, liability liquidity, and several indicators. And about lending, we have individual loans and corporation loans. So as you can see in the table about the liquidity management, you can see it's upward sloping about the asset liquidity management and downward sloping in liability liquidity management. And we have three indicators in assessment of liquidity of BIDV. We have the first one is current ratios. It equal current asset divided current liability. And the second one is working capital is equal total current asset minus total current liability. And the last indicator is leverage ratio. Yeah, you can see the result in the table in this slide. So the last part is about the lending management. You can see the upward trend and positive relationship between BIDV and customer in total lending amount in this chart. And about the individual loan and corporation loans. Loans to customer account for over 95% in total lending of BIDV, and the rate of corporation loans declines, but the amount of money that has been lended was still big. So we come to sum up the presentation. BIDV has gained significant success, such as ensuring credit institution liquidity, stabilizing interest rates, reducing inflation, generating positive credit growth, market stabilization. BIDV maintained a safe and effective rate of expansion in 2020. And last is ensuring the interests of workers and shareholders were satisfied. So it brings us to the end of my presentation, and thank you for listening.